Hey guys, this is Not Lammers, I'm Invoked 101. Welcome back, and like I mentioned, we are here with the updated Witchcrafter deck profile. We have Witchcrafter Jenny, or Genie. I remember when she was first revealed it was Genie, but it looks like they've changed it to be how it's pronounced over in Japan, which was Jenny. We also have the brand new Ignition Assault sneak peek mat. Big shout out to Judge Warren for hooking that up with me. So very happy to add that to the collection, as it is the final sneak peek mat and the last mat of the Vrains era that we know of currently. So very excited to add this to the collection. With that said, down in the description, there's a link to our Patreon, our Teespring, our Ko-fi, and our Cash App. So if you feel like supporting Invoked 101 directly, that's how to do it. There's also a link to our Discord, so if you feel like chatting with us, that's also down there. But real quick, before we get into this deck profile, I gotta make a quick PSA. Yes, Witchcrafters are great. Yes, the artwork in this is super cute and they are very, very pretty, but please don't stroke or caress the Witchcrafter cards. It's weird. Don't touch them. Don't be inappropriate with your cards. Just appreciate the existence of them. Don't be weird with them. We had a weird moment at the sneak peek when I had just got the third Jenny and someone was being weird about Jenny. Three guys were being weird about Jenny. It was really weird. I actually saved one of them from one of them, so you know, she found a good home. I believe these were the 3 Jennies that were pulled at the event. Good to add. Anyways, setting the spells off to the side and we'll get right into the main deck monsters. Mio's in the back, she's a little sick, so if you hear any coughing, it's because she's a little sick. Speaking of Mio, this is her deck, so I'm just profiling it. Anyway, so we have 3 Witchcrafter Jenny, the brand new Witchcrafter, and we are getting 2 more Witchcrafter cards in Eternity Code that do help the deck, but Jenny right now is so good. I remember when they revealed her, I was like, this card is awesome. She fixes a lot of problems that Witchcrafter has off the bat. First of all, she's a level 1 wind spellcaster, which already is a great stat line for her. She has 300, 500, and she shares the same effect that all low-level Witchcrafters have, which is during the main phase, quick effect, you contribute this card and discard a spell, and special summon 1 Witchcrafter monster from the deck. All low-level Witchcrafter monsters do that, so I'm not going to mention it again. I will say that it has the Witchcrafter effect, but that's just putting it out of the way. Then each Witchcrafter has an effect where you banish them from the graveyard, I believe you banish them from the graveyard, and then they get to do something else. So Genie's effect, which I'm going to switch between calling her Jenny and Genie. Don't get mad at me in the comments. It says, you can banish this card from and 1 Witchcrafter spell from your graveyard. This effect becomes that spell's effect when that card is activated. You can only use each effect of Witchcrafter Genie once per turn. So the fact that she gets to copy a spell is awesome. It basically means that you can use the discarded spells again a second time, but it's just a fantastic way. It basically ensures that any spell you discard, any Witchcrafter spell you discard, can be used. So she is a very nice piece of support for the deck. After that, we have the level 2 Witchcrafter Pottery. And Pottery, again, has the Witchcrafter effect, and her bonus effect is, if you have no cards in your hand, you can banish this card from your GY, then target a Witchcrafter card in your graveyard and add it to your hand, which can be a nice piece of consistency. What you can do is if you have nothing, like you've emptied out your hand, you can banish her, add back a Witchcrafter, I think it's Creation is their Rhoda, or potentially even a Holiday to reborn like a Madame Veer, a Golem, even a Jenny at that point, because Jenny can be linked into stuff. But yeah, so very cool card right here. And then we have the level 3 Witchcrafter Pator. Level 3 water spellcaster. This one's a level 2 earth. She has 1015, so a little beefier in the booty. And then, of course, she has the Witchcrafter effect, and her bonus effect is you can banish this card from your GY, draw 1 card, then send a Witchcrafter card from your hand to the graveyard, or if you have none, banish your hand. So she's kind of like an Allure of Darkness in that sense, in the fact that she makes you banish your hand, kind of like Allure makes you get rid of it. But yeah, another very good card, letting you draw deeper into the deck. And also, a very cool looking secret rare, not even gonna lie. It looks awesome in the viewfinder. Then we have the level 4, which is Shemitah, level 4 fire spellcaster with 18 and 600. So she's kind of the beater, the low level beater of the deck. Of course, she has the Witchcrafter effect, and her bonus effect is, where is it? You can banish this card from your graveyard, send 1 Witchcrafter card from your deck to the graveyard, except Shemitah, you can only use each effect once per turn. So very cool, being able to get cards out of the deck. And I do appreciate that she was a super rare instead of a secret. I think if she was one of the secret rares for the deck, I don't think that she would It's just crazy. I think her price would have gone up. But that's it for the low level ones. Then we have the level 5 Edel, which Edel is a little different. All the high level Witchcrafters do work a little differently because they don't share effects. But this one has the quick effect to discard a spell and special summon one Witchcrafter from the hand except Edel. But she also has an effect where you contribute this card, target a spellcaster in your graveyard except Edel, and special summon it. But you can only use each effect of Edel once per turn. So she's actually kind of cool in the fact that you can just tribute her off, but you're not going to go into her too often, which is why you only need one. But she can be good for getting stuff out of your hand and special summoning out Hane, which Hane is my personal favorite one next to a Golem. But Hane is really cool. She looks awesome. She's a level 7 dark spellcaster, and her effect is your opponent cannot target other spellcasters you control with card effects. And then it says quick effect, you can discard one spell, then target a face-up card your opponent controls and destroy it. You can only use each effect of Hane once per turn, but she is fantastic, especially if you get out both, because then your opponent, you soft block your opponent out of targeting, so it's pretty fantastic in that sense. Then we have the Smug Witch herself, which is Madame Veer. This is a level 8 spellcaster light, and she has a pretty dope effect where you get to reveal spells during a damage step or damage calculation. You can reveal any number of spells in your hand, and spellcasters, a spellcaster you control gains 1,000 per revealed spell. And she also has another quick effect where you can discard a spell and negate all monster effects your opponent currently controls. So she's kind of like a big blanket effect veiler, which can be turn ending in some cases. She also has 2,800 defense, so she is pretty big. You're usually going to summon her in defense anyways. We have one of the other support cards after that came out recently, which is Witchcrafter Golem Aruru. So she is pretty cool. She came out of Rising Rampage, I believe, and her effect is when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a spellcaster monster you control or targets it for an attack, quick effect, you can target one card your opponent controls or one Witchcrafter spell in your graveyard, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, return that targeted card to the hand. You can only use this effect of Witchcrafter Golem Oruru once per turn. Once per turn, during your opponent's standby phase, return this card to the hand. And she has 2,800 attacks, so she's huge. She's also a spellcaster instead of machine. I was actually really worried when they revealed her that she was going to be a machine instead of spellcaster. But anyways, she's super cool. She adds stuff back from the graveyard. She protects your Witchcrafters, and she is a free special summon that's 2,800. It's a fantastic piece of support. That's it for the actual Witchcrafter names, and for just hand traps, we have 2 Ash Blossom, just for hand traps. Moving into the spells, we of course have 3 Witchcrafter Creation, which is the Rota for the deck. It basically lets you add a new Witchcrafter monster from the deck to your hand. And then all the Witchcrafter spells, all the normal spells and the and Draping do share a effect where it's during the end phase, you can add this card. It's like during your end phase, if you control a Witchcrafter and the cards in your graveyard, you can add it to your hand, but you can only use one effect of the spell card per turn. So if you add a card, so if like you do the main effect of it, then you can't add it to your hand during the end phase, which kind of sucks. I really do wish that like it wasn't during end phase. I wish it was during standby, because that would have made the deck so much better. You just load your hand, but I honestly get why they didn't do it that way, because during it in standby is kind of like playing Spellbook of Judgment, but .deck. But yeah, then we also have 2 Holiday, which is the Monster Reborn. It targets a Witchcrafter in your graveyard and special summons it, so that's pretty cool. Then we have one of the most MVP cards, and honestly, this thing could possibly go to 2 with this upcoming format that's like super control heavy, which is Witchcrafter Draping. And what this does, it says target spells and traps your opponent controls up to the number of Witchcrafter monsters you control and return those to the hand. And then of course it has the end phase effect, much like Creation and Holiday do. So a very cool card, and it's a quick play, so that's nice. Then we have the continuous spell, Witchcrafter By Street. And it says, the first time each Witchcrafter monster you control would be destroyed each turn by battle or card effect, it is not. So that's another like nice little helpful effect. And it says you can only use one of the following effects of By Street per turn. And so it has the during the end phase, you can add this to your hand, or no, you get to place the continuous spells place themselves in the spell trap zone face up. Sorry. But its other effect is if a Witchcrafter monster would discard a card to activate an effect, you can send this card from the field to the graveyard instead. And I believe this one shares the same 2 bulleted effects. And its continuous effect is once per turn when your spellcaster monster destroys a monster by battle, you can draw a card. Simple. That's it for the Witchcrafter spells. After that, we play 2 Secret Village because it is a spellcaster deck, along with 1 Terraforming, and you might be saying, why aren't you playing 3 Secret Village? Because it's not the main focus of the deck. It's not a super key part of it, but it is good to have, and I think these 2 are good enough. After that, we do also play 2 Magician's Right Hand, which negates spells. It says, negate the effect of your opponent's first spell card or effect that resolves each turn while you control a spellcaster. And if you do, or if it did not have an effect, destroy that card. And 1 Left Hand, and these do the same thing, except Left Hand hits traps instead of spells. So we're only playing 1 of that. We're also playing 1 Magician's Restage. So now we're getting into stuff that you want to, like spell cards you want to discard to get effects. So Magician's Restage says, it says you can target 1 level 3 or lower spellcaster in your graveyard, special summon it. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field, because it is a continuous spell, so if you want to use it as a reborn, you can. But the main reason we play this is, it says, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Magician continuous spell from your deck to your hand, except Restage. So, or 1 Magician's. So it would be Magician's Right Hand or Left Hand. That's what this is for. You discard it and search 1 of these 2, but you can also use it to reborn like Genie or not Shemitah or Pator or Pottery. You could do that. We also play 1 Galaxy Cyclone. This is if you don't know what this does, it destroys a set 1, I believe, and then during another turn you can banish it and destroy a face up 1, or the other way around. It's just another good card that actually has an effect in the graveyard. Then we have 1 Metal Foes Fusion. Basically what you do is you shuffle this into the deck and draw a card. It's just a free discard and draw. So basically it lets you keep the advantage in your hand with the Witchcrafters, which is the main reason we're playing this. I've thought about bumping this up to 2, but I think 1, I want to see how 1 works out moving forward as well. We also have 1 1-for-1. This is for the Witchcrafter Genie, because she is really good. You can turn her into Link Kuriboh and just use this to get her out super quick. And it's also a free monster. You just discard any card and summon any monster and summon her. So, and then you can get effects off of the monster you discarded. And after that, we of course have 3 Called by the Grave, because this deck is a bit of a glass cannon up until we get the new card, which prevents your opponent from responding to your spellcasters. But before then, all we have is Called by the Grave right now. Now, before I get comments saying, oh, where's the extra deck, where's the extra deck? I am not playing one currently in this, because the extra deck is actually super open to whatever you want to put in it. If you find some card, like of course you're gonna, like you might want to play Link Kuriboh because she's level 1. You could play Boral Sword. You could play any generic Link that you want. There is no, if you feel like playing the Spellbook engine, you could play Crowley. It really depends on how you want to change this deck. Like when I was playing the Wind Witches in this, when playing the Wind Witches, you want to play the Wind Witch as well as Crystal Wing, so doing that. But yeah, Witchcrafters is one of those decks where it's really put what you want in the extra deck, because you're not really going to go into it. This deck doesn't require one. But with all that said, Witchcrafter is one of those decks that is super fun and it's super cool to see. I knew this was one of the only decks that Mio has gotten excited about building, like ever. She got excited about Vendreads. She got a little excited about Demise once she figured out like how it played. She likes Madolches, but Witchcrafter was a deck that I showed her and she was like, I want to play that. And I was super excited because it meant that like I could just buy a box and pull the Infinitrax and the Witches and not lose value. So that was exciting, and it's just super fun to collect this stuff for her, as well as like when the Infinitrax come out, and it's great. I love it, she loves it, and I hope you guys like this version of it, because I think this is a pretty solid Witchcrafter build moving forward. Anyways, tell me what you guys thought about this deck in the comments below, and of course while you're down there, feel free to check out the description. We have a link to our Patreon, our Teespring, our Cash App, and our Ko-fi, so if you feel like supporting us in any way, that is how to do it. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.